Hey everyone! At this point of the course, it's time to start working with Xpresso. So as I said previously, our project consists of animating a pendulum going through a disc. The first thing I did was inserting all the elements inside a null except for the plane, the disc and the cone. We can even hide them if necessary. Okay, I'm going to hide them now. Okay. So what we are going to do next is add Xpresso tag to the cone. But before that, make sure that this axis is positioned at the top of the thread and not in the middle. Use the Move tool to move this axis upward. Okay, like that. You can use another view if you need it. Okay. Deselect the Enable Axis options, and this way the pendulum will move along the top axis and not along the middle one, okay? So don't forget to do that. Well, now select the pendulum, go to the list and right-click on Cone. Then Cinema 4D tags and press Xpresso to add a tag. After that, Xpresso editor window will open. You can modify its size and place it wherever you want to work comfortably. So the first thing we're going to do is insert the cone into this window. Like that, perfect. So it's time to start working with Xpresso, and we'll begin with this node, which we are going to use to tell the software what we want to do. Okay. So in this case, we want the pendulum to swing back and forth. So activate the Rotate tool. Now, if you rotate it like that, we'll see that the rotation value B changes. Thus, we know that it's this parameter what we need to tweak to change the rotation. So go back to the Xpresso editor and click on the blue box. That's it. This menu will open, and then go to Coordinates, Rotation, and there is where you will select Rotation B. Next, we are going to add another node of time this time, which lets us control the animation's time, so to speak. So right-click, New Node, Xpresso, General, and Time. That's it. Well, this time node indicates a particular action at a particular time frame. Well, how are we going to connect the nodes? Linking them isn't enough. So to perform this connection, it is necessary to insert another element. Okay? Let me explain it. So we have the time node, okay? Then the range mapper, which is the one we are going to insert now, and then the rotation node. Cool, so right-click, New Node, Xpresso, Calculate, and select Range Mapper. Okay? Perfect, so here we have the time, the range mapper, and the pendulum with the rotation, which is B. Let's link the time with range mapper input. That's it. And then the output with the cone. But don't worry, because we'll see it clearer when making the animation, and you'll understand the connections better. Click on the range mapper, and its property panel will open in the panel on the right. Go to Output Range to determine which property we want in that case. I'm going to choose Degree, But we could also use percent, for example. This way we are indicating the expression we want to use. So we are going to work with degrees. Within parameters, we can tweak the degrees of the output lower. Let's set it to minus 80 degrees, for example, and the output upper to 80 degrees. If we press play, the animation begins. But as you can see, the animation doesn't stop rotating. Okay? Here below you'll find the frames. The animation ends at the 90 frame. It rotates, yes, but randomly. So at this point, we should do the following. Press Ctrl D to open the project settings in the panel on the right. Now make sure that FPS are at 30. It may be at R24. If so, change it to 30. We are using this value because we'll be working with this frames format. Right after that, activate the modulo option. This way we are telling the software we want it to last 1 second. It is 30 frames. If we play now the animation, we'll see that this movement lasts 30 frames. Now we need to create the pendulum movement. To do so, we are going to work with a spline. It works similarly to After Effects. So we need to create an expression to indicate the pendulum, the movement, okay? So press Ctrl to create this point. Then press Ctrl again and create this point up here in the middle, okay? And again Ctrl here, okay. So we've created this sort of pendulum movement and we just need to adjust it. How? Well, by just pressing and moving these points, these sort of handles. See? So click here and drag until placing it correctly. At 0.8, perfect. And the same with the other point. Okay, make sure it's in the same position. Doing is modifying the spline's curve. Okay? Use the grid in the background as a guide. Okay, hit play again. And this is how the software interprets this spline. We can see how it gains speed and loses it. Let's see what happens when modifying the spline. Okay, put it like that, okay. See, the animation changes. So, move this point over here and this other one here, like that. Also modify the point at the top. That's it. So, by changing the spline's expression, we are getting a proper pendulum's movement. Make sure the box Use Spline is checked. It's very important, guys. Also very important, in Input Upper, we need to indicate the animation's duration. It is, how much time does the pendulum take to move? It's at 1 by default, but set it to 5 and hit play. Well, we need to increase the number of frames, like 300. Okay. See, the animation lasts longer. So depending on what we want, we'll use a different value. Okay? Let's set it now to 2. See, it moves faster. Well, I think I'm going to leave it at 3. Great. Perfect. So, guys, in this lesson, we've seen how to animate the pendulum, right? We're going to leave this video here, and in the next lesson, we'll be using the Xpresso editor to create an expression. In this case, affecting the disc. Okay? In this case, we'll want to sync the disc's movement with the pendulums. Save the scene and see you in the next lesson.